Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists. Hello, I'm Dango Rose, and this is the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. In this week's episode, we talk to Scramble Campbell, visual expressionary of the live music experience. He shares recollections and personal reflections of a decades-long career painting the music into scrambled form.
We hear this week's music mentions from Jamie Lammers, and special correspondent Maryann Rosen will share a special story about the history of Red Rocks Amphitheater and what's on tap for the summer months.
And for our final story, we speak to McCumber of the Moors and McCumber. The legendary Gold Hill musician tells tales of their recent journey to Ireland and what they'll have on tap for their homecoming show at the Gold Hill Inn on Wednesday, June 28th.
But first, some news from your neighborhood.
Grab your bags, get up, and get out to the Levitt Street Market in Central City. The market has kicked off its third year, featuring local artisans and food providers. Guests can enjoy unique sellers and food trucks every other Sunday from 10 to 2 p.m. The next market, scheduled, is July 2nd. Find out more by visiting them on Facebook by searching Levitt Street Market.
Boulder Valley School District will be holding a job fair at the Nederland Middle Senior High School on Wednesday, June 28th, 2023, from 3 to 6 p.m. in the cafeteria. Come explore part-time and full-time jobs in food services, transportation, and custodial services. There are hiring incentives offered after just 90 days of employment and benefit-eligible jobs starting at just 20 hours per week.
The town of Nederland, in coordination with Bohannon Houston, are excited to introduce the Nederland Housing Needs Assessment Project. The purpose of the project is to evaluate housing costs and needs in order to develop an understanding of how best to guide affordable housing policy and investments in the future, which in turn supports the needs of the Nederland community. Check out the interactive map on the Nederland Housing Needs Assessment website and share your thoughts on where you believe housing development is most appropriate within the community. There, you will also be able to share concerns, read other residents' comments, and drop a pin in areas you believe need to be avoided for development. You can find more information about the assessment in this week's issue of the Mountaineer newspaper, along with the link to get started.
The Mountaineer newspaper is accepting entries for our 2023 photo contest, Views from the Top. This contest is open to everyone living along the Peak to Peak, including canyon communities between Allens Park and Central City. We will be printing a select number of entries in the next It's Your Turn edition coming out later in June. Be sure to check our show notes for more information on how to submit your photo. You can also find a direct link to the contest in this week's edition of the Mountaineer newspaper.
Read more local news and feature stories in print and online at themountaineer.com.
And that's it for this week's news briefs. If you have something to share, you can send requests for submission to info@themountaineer.com. As long as it meets our community standards, we'll be sure to include it in a future episode. Brightwood Music has been serving the Peak-to-Peak region and beyond since opening in 2008. The full-service music store offers new and used instruments and will even repair the ones you've got. Go ahead and check them out on Facebook at Brightwood Music. Brightwood Music is the best music store with altitude across the Peak to Peak. And now for our lead story. Cynthia interviews Scramble Campbell, legendary live music painter and house visionary at the historic Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Hello, Scramble. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Keith Scramble Campbell.
To start, how would you describe your art to someone who has never seen it before?
I'm kind of a visual musician. So I'm in the art world of the music world, not of the regular art world. So I'm like in the music scene versus being, live. I call it live music painting.
And I guess it's safe to say the music brought you to Colorado.
Well, I used to travel around the country when I lived in Florida 20 years ago, and when I found Red Rocks, I decided to come out to Red Rocks in 2000. So one of the reasons I wanted to come out here because I really love the community. I knew the the leftover guys and string cheese, and I just started to get knowing Yonder was just starting out at that point in time. So I just it was just a great community of people that was like-minded.
Scramble, when did this musical love affair with Red Rocks, so to speak, first begin?
Well, I going to Red Rocks for the first time in 2000. I did 37,000 miles in our van around the country for 4.5 months, and got to go to all the different national parks and to the music venues all over on the West Coast, where I would majority of my time was spent on the East Coast. And I just wanted to, when I came here, I wanted to try to make my mark on that particular venue. And once I started to paint there so often, I started to learn more of the history behind who owned it, what the usage of it, what a ceremonial site it's always been through the Native Americans for several thousand years to present day. And there's just something magical about the particular venue that just is like no other. And when I've seen the same act play in different spots around the country, and when they come to Red Rocks, there's something that they deliver one of their best performances, I think. So, and now it's kind of been with multiple bands playing multiple nights. It's kind of like a convention of that tribe of music coming in and doing their ceremony, once a year, and I'm thankful to get to capture it.
With decades worth of paintings created at the venue, we hear you have a yearly show at the Visitors Center, along with quite a bit of merch available for people to buy.
Yeah, what they've done is for the last 18 years, they've had the Visitor Center lets me show my Red Rocks paintings once a year for a month. So during the summertime, I show my paintings there. This summer, they just so happen to be working on the Visitor Center, so I'm not positive of when or if the art show will be there this year. But they let me showcase the artwork there, and they also at the Visitor Center and at the Trading Post year round they sell images of my work, like on magnets and postcards and posters and stickers and so on and so forth, like little items and keychains and things. So they let me sell it year round there. So.
And can you tell us about any recent shows that have been particularly fun? And how about any shows coming up that you're excited for?
One of the things I just did something interesting last week for the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They came into town and played a nighttime show, then a daytime show, then they played again that same night. So that was pretty interesting, and I was looking forward to that. I always look forward to having Panic come in town. One of the ones I haven't painted this summer that it should be interesting because Duran, I want to get them as well. But just whoever shows up there, I like to paint them.
And most of the time, people will see you painting off to the side of the stage, but you were telling me you'll be on stage during the Blues Traveler set coming up in July.
So I started off with, in the 90s, one of my first tours was the Hardt Festival. So I got to meet a lot of like the members of Widespread and String Cheese, Widespread and Blues Traveler and all the the foundation of the jam band scene. They're all the same age as I am, and I met them earlier on, like when they were all in clubs and stuff. And so for the last at least 10 years or so, Blues Traveler invites me up to paint with him on stage at Red Rocks. So, I've done close to 600 paintings live at Red Rocks, but only like 15 to 20 of them are on stage at Red Rocks.
So, Scramble, what's the best way to see more of your artwork?
My website is scramblecampbell.com. It's a database-driven website, so you can search it by going on to any band, and it'll show you from the last painting I did of them till the first painting I did of them, or go on to it as a venue. You can put on there in Red Rocks, and it'll show you from the latest painting till the very first painting of Red Rocks. There's just thousands of pieces on there, and that's where you can view my work at.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. It is truly amazing how you have documented so much music history and magical moments over the years through your paintings, and at one of Colorado's most beloved venues. We'll be sure to include links in our show notes and absolutely encourage anyone listening to check out Scramble Campbell's incredible body of work for yourself.
Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles when she flies. But the cuckoo never warbles till the 15th of July.
Now we go to correspondent Jamie Lammers, who will be delivering this week's Music Mentions.
And now for this week's Music Mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, July 2nd at 2 p.m. to see the Nippers, members of the Low Road, performing live. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Wednesday, June 28th at 5 p.m. to see Moors and McCumber performing live, on Friday, June 30th at 8 p.m. to see the Two Tracks performing live, on Saturday, July 1st at 6 p.m. to see the Finn O'Sullivan Trio performing live, and on Sunday, July 2nd at 6 p.m. to see the Johnny Blue Heart Trio performing live. Head to the Grand Z Casino, located at 321 Gregory Street in Central City on Friday, June 30th and Saturday, July 1st at 8 p.m. to see Rhett Hanley performing live. Head to Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Saturday, July 1st at 5 p.m. to see High Lonesome Band performing live. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Thursday, June 29th at 7 p.m. to see Ramaya Saskin performing live, on Friday, June 30th at 7 p.m. to see Paul Kimberis performing live, and on Sunday, July 1st at 12:15 p.m. to see Desolation Horse and Corey Oglesby performing live. Head to the JKQ Barbecue, located at 200 Gregory Street in Blackhawk on Friday, June 30th at 6 p.m. and Saturday, July 1st at 6 p.m. to see Robbie Wicks performing live. Every Sunday at 4 p.m., Knotted Root Brewing hosts Jazz Sundays with Black Dog and Friends. Be sure to head there at 250 North Caribou Street in Nederland to check them out for yourself. Head to the Millside Inn, located at 44365 Highway 72 in Ward on Tuesday, June 27th at 7 p.m. to see Faded Paisley performing live, on Friday, June 30th at 7 p.m. to see John McKay performing live, and on Saturday, July 1st at 7 p.m. to see Pour Free performing live. And finally, head to the Very Nice Brewing Company, located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Nederland on Friday, June 30th at 6 p.m. to see Mountain Reverb performing live, on Saturday, July 1st at 5 p.m. to see Strange Birds performing live, and on Sunday, July 2nd at 5 p.m. to see No Go Gillbillies performing live. Did we miss you or your performances? Want to submit your music listing in the Peaks Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountain Ear.
Thank you, Jamie. Now let's drop in with special correspondent Maryann Rosen, who shares a fascinating tale about the history of our famed Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Anyone who has ever been lucky enough to see a concert at the Red Rocks Amphitheater knows what an incredible experience it is. The venue is amazing, from the acoustics to the view to the natural outcroppings of rocks and the magnificent surrounding park. The first time there, you are struck by the beauty amongst which you are listening to music. Especially true if it is a glorious moonlit Colorado night with the stars shining in their abundance. Located near Morrison, Colorado, about 10 miles west of Denver, Red Rocks is an open-air amphitheater built into a natural rock structure and has seating for roughly 9,500 people. How this area was created goes back millions of years. Monolithic sandstone walls 300 feet high, made of red rock and sandstone, rose up from a prehistoric ocean floor. At the end of the Cretaceous period, maybe 15 million years ago, the area went through a major tectonic event, which also created the Rocky Mountains. Red Rocks is one of the 3 fountain formations, which also include the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs and the Flatirons in Boulder, Colorado. The walls of Red Rocks contain records from the Jurassic period, and dinosaur tracks and fossils have been found nearby. The rock outcroppings of Creation Rock and Ship's Rock create a natural acoustic bowl. The elevation of 6,450 feet above sea level and a 100-foot climb from stage to the top seating adds to how one hears music as sound travels more slowly at higher elevations. The earliest humans to occupy the area date back thousands of years to the Paleo-Indian period. The indigenous Ute tribe was thought to use the area as a sacred site and gathering spot for music. Many tales are told about ghosts and a headless hatchet woman showing themselves if they feel the sacred ground is not being cared for. In more modern times, the first known owner was Marion Burtz in 1872. He called the area Garden of Angels. He sold the land to Leonard Eichholt, who turned the area into a park in 1878. John Grisham Walker, with his vision of artists performing on a stage nestled into the surreal rocks, evolved into his purchasing the land in 1905 and renaming it the Garden of Titans. In 1906, Walker put on a show featuring Pietro Satriano and his 25-piece band. In 1908, 4 military bands played, and in 1911, Mary Gordon, a famous Scottish opera star, performed and put Red Rocks on the map. In 1927, the city of Denver acquired the 868-acre park, and in 1928, the Civil Conservation Corps, as part of the WPA project during the New Deal, began a 12-year construction which resulted in the current amphitheater. Since then, many things, including the Colorado Music Hall of Fame, have been added to the park. Red Rocks officially opened to the public in June 1941 with the first performance featuring Helen Jepsen of New York's Metropolitan Opera, and concerts have been held every year since, except for a couple of years during COVID. In 1964, the Beatles played Red Rocks in the only show not sold out on their tour. In 1970, Jethro Tull played, and many non-ticketed fans showed up and clashed with police, leading to a 5-year ban of all rock music at the venue. Another clash with police during a 1996 Phish concert led to that band not being invited back until 2009. Blues Traveler plays a 4th of July show every year. Dolly Parton played Red Rocks for the first time when she was 70 years old. Every Easter, there is a sunrise service, and yoga on the rocks happens a few times a year. Red Rocks is the summer home also to the Colorado Symphony Orchestra, who also plays with some of the rock acts. There are way too many bands and musicians that have played for me to mention, but a few notables include Jimi Hendrix, Neil Young, Stevie Nicks, the Moody Blues, the Eagles, and James Taylor. It was a favorite venue of the Grateful Dead. Headlining Red Rocks is also a rite of passage for Colorado-based bands. Some Colorado musicians and bands who have played are John Denver, Dan Fogelberg, Judy Collins, Gregory Alan Isaacoff, Leftover Salmon, the String Cheese Incident, who has played 35 plus times, and the Mountain Ear Podcast's own Dango Rose with Elephant Revival, who has headlined 3 times, once playing with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra. Some interesting facts are that everyone who plays gets a Piece of the Rock award made of sandstone with the artist's name etched into it. And most musicians sign the wall of the hallway leading to the backstage sound equipment. In 1999, Polestar magazine, for the 11th time, awarded Red Rocks the honor of the venue being the best small outdoor venue. They renamed the award the Red Rocks Award and removed the venue from the running. In 2021, Red Rocks was named the top grossing and most attended concert venue anywhere in the world. It is definitely a venue everyone should visit at least once, especially if you are a music lover. The 2023 season began in April, and a few of the many headliners this season include Hozier, the Avett Brothers, Trampled by Turtles, Brandi Carlile, My Morning Jacket, Camp, and Maggie Rogers. For a full schedule and tickets, check out the Red Rocks website.
If you are a visual artist in the Peak to Peak area and want to include your studio, gallery, or workspace in the fall Peak to Peak Studio Tour, then go to themountaineer.com and sign up today. It is free to join, and artists will showcase their finest work to visitors and art lovers in all autumn splendor. Again, to sign up, visit themountaineer.com and follow the links to the Peak to Peak Studio Tour.
And that was Moors and McCumber performing The Flood off of Companion, Volume 1. Next, Jamie interviews Court about their recent travels overseas and what's in store for their upcoming show at the Gold Hill Inn.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and today I'm interviewing one half of the duo Moors and McCumber. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
I am Court McCumber, live near Gold Hill, and I am one half of the duo Moors and McCumber.
It's nice to meet you, Court. I hear you're playing at the Gold Hill Inn very soon.
We will be there on June 28th. It's one of our most popular and fun shows that we play all summer. We do one show at Gold Hill Inn in the summer and an annual one in December that's now going on about 13 or 14 years. So it's a great place. It's in my backyard. It's a lot of locals, but also people from all over Front Range and other states come to hear us play.
So how exactly did the duo start?
We met each other in Lyons at the Rocky Mountain Folk Fest back in 2005. Stayed in touch, became friends. James Moors is the other half of the duo. He lives in Superior, Wisconsin, way up south shore of Lake Superior, right near Duluth. So he was touring solo at the time, so was I, and we struck up a great friendship. And when he would come to Colorado and play solo shows, if I didn't have a gig, I would go sit in with him and play some mandolin and sing harmony, and then it kind of grew out of that. We realized all the bar gigs we were playing, people started turning the TVs off that were above our head and started paying attention a little bit more, because even back then, even when we were playing bar gigs, we still were doing pretty much all of our original music. And then once we started writing together, we did our first record, came out in end of 2009, early 2010, and it basically was just kind of an excuse to do more duo shows. So pretty much after that first record, our solo careers that we'd worked so hard at, it was hard for us to let those go because that's what we had put so much time and money and effort into. But we realized the smartest thing was to go at it together. Once you find that musical comrade that you get along with off stage as well as the chemistry on stage, you know you have a winning thing going.
So what style of music would you say you primarily focus on?
I would definitely say under the umbrella of Americana, and a lot of listeners might know that it's such a big umbrella because you have the Americana that's definitely more country, and then you have some Americana that's more country and bluegrass, and you have some Americana that kind of pushes that boundary and it's got a rock element to it. I would say even when we're performing as a duo, the last couple records definitely lean towards more electric guitars and keyboard. Still just the two of us, and with the emphasis being on the harmonies. But Americana, singer-songwriter, folk rock, those are the three terms that I use the most when people ask us what we do.
I hear you're also going on overseas trips to Ireland.
We have. We started those in 2011. We had a mutual friend that was leading these trips to Ireland. He was working with an Irish guy, and the Irish guy lived in Limerick, and he'd put together kind of stuff on the ground in Ireland, and he'd get the bus, and he'd book the hotels. And the musician that we were friends with, John Smith from Wisconsin, his job was basically get 22 fans and friends that would want to go and sightsee during the day and listen to great Irish traditional music at night. So we did our first one in September of 2011. We loved it so much that was kind of the official start of the duo, I would say, is when we got home from that, we both realized that we had something really special. Solo records were no more. You know, we both had made quite a few solo records, but that was kind of the mark of when the duo was officially the main thing that we did. So we started with one, and then we grew it to 2 a year. Now we do 4 Ireland trips a year, and we've added 2 Scotland trips, which is built the same way. They're 10-day trips around Ireland. We play 3 concerts for our group, and then we take them to see Irish music, Scottish music, or we bring those musicians to the group to do semi-private concerts. So it's really a neat way to see the country. It's a neat way to interact with the fans, and we've made some lifelong friends because of it. A lot of people that hear us, we're touring Ireland, people going with us. They're not just acting as our roadies, carrying stuff, and just us playing concerts. So it's kind of a neat thing where we're hanging out with them, we're on the bus, we're sightseeing with them, and then we're facilitating the music at night, whether it's us or the other musicians.
The music scene in Ireland must be vastly different from Colorado.
It is. You know, there are some similarities. The one thing I love about being able to bring our music back over that side of the Atlantic is a lot of country, bluegrass, and rock melodies is all old music from Ireland and Scotland. It's all old melodies. And when they were immigrating over to the U.S., they brought those tunes and songs with them. And that's kind of filtered through Appalachia, and it's filtered through where there's a lot of similarities between bluegrass melodies and country melodies. And obviously country, with the adding electric guitars, turned into rock and roll. So those old melodies have been rooted so much in American music. So to bring our music back to the other side, where we've obviously been influenced with those old melodies without even really knowing it because of the American music tradition, it's pretty fun to kind of reverse that and make it full circle. We can take it back over there, play our music for those people, and then they recognize some of the stuff. They know where we're pulling our influences from even before we started being inspired directly by the music. We were inspired indirectly, not even knowing it. And I think they noticed that. They love hearing us sing harmonies because a lot of times the Irish traditional music, you have a lot of instrumentals and then you'll have somebody just sing an a cappella song, and it's not heavy on the harmonies. So when we went over there bringing our original music, and one of our strengths is our harmony singing, people really loved it and they took to us. It was really nice to be able to share that and kind of make it full circle.
What do you love about being able to play in Ireland?
I mean, the really neat thing is that no matter what venue we go into, we have 22 fans that are already going to go with us. They don't have a choice. And so that really does make a nice difference with the locals coming in. They see that, oh, these guys must have a following. This must be something worth listening to. And so it's definitely helped us to gain more fans over there. But just being able to go to these little towns, which I love, they're Gold Hill kind of sized towns that have a bunch of pubs, but they're all really appreciative of music. Like, it's such a massive part of their culture. That's one of my favorite things, is being able to listen to their music and then collaborate and share with them our music to an audience that already is appreciative. It is different that way. Obviously, Colorado's got some great music fans, and that's why we have a pretty good stronghold out here in Colorado. Colorado's unique. It's not like this everywhere in the United States. So it does feel good going to Ireland and say, oh, yeah, okay, so I am used to this a little bit, but it's really nice to be in a completely different place and to have that same feeling.
What are you hoping to bring back from Ireland to this Gold Hill show?
I would say we're always inspired. We're writing instrumental music and new songs by being over there, whether they sound Irish, have that feel or not, but we're always being inspired. And I think that one of the things that we always have learned by going over there is that the instrumentalists over there are absolute world-class musicians that you're getting to hear in these little pubs. So every time I go over there, I feel like I'm getting to go to school. So when I come back, I feel like I'm getting to take some of that and realize that I'm always having to up my game, which I love doing, and kind of bringing that to the stage where there's always another little trick up the sleeve just because of what we've just been able to witness and be a part of and be able to soak that all in. And I feel like bringing that back, playing music in Gold Hill especially, but all the other places, it's just kind of that sensibility of there's never a time where I'm happy of exactly where I'm at musically because I've always been pushing to get better. And a big part of that is being able to be around those world-class musicians in a really small little pub in their hometown in Ireland. So I definitely am fortunate and grateful that I get to do that and bring that back here.
And what do you hope that audience members take away from your shows when they come and see you?
I think a big part of what James and I have done is it doesn't just stem from the Ireland stuff, but us being able to do those trips with fans. We've been able to build up a really great community of music lovers all over the U.S. when we go touring. And to be able to come home and play that for the hometown friends is really a special thing for us. And I love that we get to do that and keep building that community. It's important for us to do that. And I think more than anywhere, we have that in Gold Hill. And then you add the music element in there and it boosts that energy. And it's just always a great place to play and the greatest place to have that transfer of energy from us as musicians on stage, giving it out and then getting it all back from the audience. It's wonderful.
And where can people get more information about your upcoming shows?
They can check out all the adventure tours that we do on our website, which is MOORS, Moors and McCumber, MCCUMBER, so moorsandmccumber.com. They can find out about those trips and then also where we're playing in the States, in Colorado the next couple weeks, all over the state. And then we're putting the finishing touches on a brand new record of songs and also a brand new record of instrumental. So that should be coming out soon, and they can find out all those details and stay up to date with what we're doing on Facebook and Instagram and our website. So just look up Moors and McCumber and they can find out all that information. And hope to see you folks at the Gold Hill Inn on June 28th.
Thank you so much for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. Again, be sure to head to moorsandmccumber.com. That's MOORSANDMCCUMBER.com to learn more information about when Moors and McCumber is coming to a venue near you. Moors and McCumber will be performing live at the Gold Hill Inn at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Wednesday, June 28th, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles and she flies. Oh, the cuckoo never warbles in 50.
That concludes this week's episode of the Mountain Air Podcast, where everybody's listening.
Visit our website at www.themountaineer.com to read more information about today's guests. Pick up a copy of this week's print edition of The Mountaineer at newsstands all across the Peak to Peak. I'm Dango Rose.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. Thank you for listening.
You name it, we've got it.
You know, up here in the mountains, things are weird.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local peak-to-peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.